Hello, Gary Champion, psychic medium with, I hope, a little wisdom. I woke up this morning, as usual, early and began writing on my book. The title has changed to something even stranger. And I heard Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. It's a metaphor for our country. We're kind of broken right now. We've got a lot of cracks in us. We're not in any danger, but um, it's not going to be the same. They're going to glue it back together, but it's not going to be the same. Not even be stronger. The interesting thing is that those who decry socialism, where are they? They've been doing that forever. No socialism in our country. Well, it's stupid because we've never been a completely democratic country. We've always had a dash of socialism. Going back to the Depression, when they had the CCC and all these other companies building schools and dams to benefit us, and we paid them. And they went on for years until World War II started and the economy picked back up. Then they declared them unconstitutional, but they ran for years. This is, and LBJ in the 60s built low income housing for the poor. That's socialism. Food stamps, welfare, these are socialist programs. So those who decry socialism really need to study their history. Anyway, the government giving you money is socialism. Writing you a check. Here's a check. Go spend it. And their hope is that that will stimulate the economy, keep everybody from being homeless. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's a survival technique. You know, Chrysler went out of business and the government took over Chrysler, paid off their bills, guaranteed everything. It's not uncommon. Banks were basically, during the last crash in '08, where they were done for. There wasn't a bank that could have stood if the government hadn't backed them. So occasionally we need to prop our country up, but, and I'm okay with that. We're still here. And they're paying us a check to basically not work. It's sort of like all those years, decades of paying farmers not to grow something. All a farmer had to do was figure out what the government didn't want them to plant and begin to plant that, and then get a check saying don't plant whatever it was. Went on for decades. Socialism. Farmers should be able to grow whatever they want and sell it on the open market. If they can't sell it, then the open market they'll lose, they'll fail and plant something else. So that's sort of, I don't know why that, but you get the idea. And there's two or three more. One large and a couple of small ones. And unemployment is, I don't know, 38 million people are collecting it now, are applying for it. It's short term and it's needed. But we're never, Humpty Dumpty can't be glued back together. He can't be talked back together. He can't be legislated back together. And it just happened. It has nothing to do with anybody. These flu things and polio and the pandemic in 1918, isn't that, if you look at some of those pictures from the pandemic in 1918, they're wearing those little cloth masks just like we are. Nothing's changed except they went to it pretty quickly. We had to fight over it. Don't wear masks, wear masks, don't wear masks, wear masks. Well, any idiot knows that a mask is better than nothing. It's not a great solution, but it's better than nothing. One paddle is good if that's all you've got. You don't need two paddles to paddle a boat. Anyway, things are opening up here in Texas as they are around the country. We're going to see a large increase in deaths, and someone's saying that the final solution hadn't been found yet. Isn't that interesting? You get that in the middle of a reading. A little rant by Gary. It means they don't have a vaccine yet. They're close, but they're not there. And there'll be several tested ones that'll be. This is the thing. FDA can't just start pumping that out and giving it to people saying, here, take a shot. They can't gamble with the public that way. Seems we're in a dire situation. We're already gambling. It's a crapshoot. So some select people will get these vaccines and they'll work through them, and they'll determine how good they are or bad they are. And there'll be two or three available. One of them will be better than the other two. The one that takes the longest to develop will be the better of them. But we've been through this before. We've been through this before. It's not unusual. We just forget. McNully. I had a seventh grade history teacher, McNully, I think was his name. I'm not good with memory, but he was a great guy, and I liked him. I enjoyed him as a teacher, and he always said we learn from our mistakes. That's why we study history, and that was just crap. He needed a job, and he didn't do it very long. Couldn't make a living at it, so he went into civil service. I'm not sure why. I can't remember. Anyway, that's what he was taught to say in college. We study history to learn by our mistakes. We don't. 1918 pandemic. I know that's a long time ago, but we should have stored up certain things. Masks are always masks of some kind. These ventilators are always ventilators. Should have had some on hand. But we dismantled that recently. We stopped that. Oh no, we can't have these people sitting around looking for problems because there aren't any problems. And unless you admit that there's a problem, there is no solution. We danced around with that for a while. Oh, it's nothing happening here. Oh, look over there. Oh, point the finger at other people, and we're still doing it. It's his fault. He's been around for 6 years. Why is it his fault? And they lie, and it's just all politicians. They want to cover their asses with something. They want that gravy. They're on the gravy train. They're having steak and gravy, and they don't want to give it up. Should limit terms of all these guys to 2 terms. That's it. No more. Can't be elected. That way we get fresh people, new ideas. Things keep rolling along. Someone that was at least born in this century. You'd think as we get older, we get smarter. I mean, older people have a fount of knowledge that can't be gleaned from a book. They know things that, but old people like to hold on to things too. They don't change. These guys with these smarmy haircuts with the cone back hair from the 50s. Jesus, come on, get a decent haircut. Stop telling women what to do. Number one, stop telling women what to do. It can't be done. If you think you can tell a woman what to do, you're the dumbest person on your block. You can make a law, it's not going to stop them. That's just the way it is. Water runs downhill. You want to try and make it run uphill? Go ahead. You're welcome to it. But it's always going to run downhill. Someone says I'm at the end of my rant. What we've got right now is a lot of heart. I see it. I see people struggling, working. Their eyes are looking at to see if you're ill in any way. Just being cautious, nothing wrong with that. This is the beginning of a new day. We're not going back to what we had before. It'll be modified. It'll be modified democratic, partially socialist for a while, and then it'll pick up and begin to run again, just like airlines are never going to be the same. They're downsizing smaller planes, shorter routes. They're going to give a lot of them up. They're just not going to fly those routes anymore because they're not profitable. So last man standing, there'd probably be a couple of airlines left. Most of them around the world are parking their planes, and some of ours are doing that too, but such is life. We're adaptable. We're an adaptable people. Something goes bad, we overcome it. We find a way. Strength of will, determination, cleverness, inventiveness. We can overcome almost anything. No fear, no regret, no anger. Thanks for watching.